Okay, folks, we are back. If you've watched the channel for some time, you know that my buddy Jose turned me on to David Lynch. While I'm not necessarily a huge fan of all of the movies of his that I have seen, I do celebrate him as a filmmaker, and I appreciate his artistic vision and influence on cinema as a whole. So, what did the Twin Peaks series and the movie that I'm about to review have in common? More than you think. Secretary. This movie came out in 2002, directed by Steven Shainberg. It has a 111-minute runtime. Not the typical movie you would see me reviewing on the channel. It popped up on a Facebook reel, and the premise looked weird and interesting, and it was a very David Lynchian-inspired film. This movie came out the same year that I believe that Lynch released Mulholland Drive, and after watching this movie, my initial feeling was this is kind of like a very inspired Lynch film. And I typed it into the old Googles. Was this movie inspired by Lynch? Yes, that was the heavy influence of this film. They even have frequent David Lynch collaborator Angelo Badalamenti do the soundtrack, which is great. And the central piece of this film, the James Spader character plays a lawman, an attorney, as it were, and he's in need of a secretary. This is considered Maggie Gyllenhaal's breakout role, and she was about 25 at the time, and James Spader, was the ultimate 80s bad boy. I don't know if he was part of the Brat Pack, but, he's right there in the midst of it. I remember the first movie that I saw where I really remember James Spader's character leaving an impact on me was Less Than Zero. A great film that came out in the late 80s with him and Robert Downey Jr. And this movie is a bleak film, but it's more than that. It's more complicated than that. It is an unconventional love story. So in the very beginning of the film, it drove me absolutely nuts because the film takes place in Florida. All the cars' license plates, they go out of the way to show the Florida plates. Clearly, this was a movie filmed in and around LA County. And that was the case when I read what I found online about the picture. $4 million budget. It debuted at the Sundance Film Festival in 2002, January of 2002. Went on to gross $9 million. It's kind of an art house movie. I didn't expect this movie to have broad appeal. It is a cult classic. It is more enjoyable than I thought. People call it an erotic romantic comedy, and to me it is about people that have had a lot of wounds and a lot of complicated past dynamics, getting past all of that to come into a trusting and loving relationship with each other, which I liked that aspect of the film. Anyway, the whole focal point of the movie is the James Spader law office, which was a production set that took over 2 years to plan. They wanted to use a lot of wood tones and natural things like plants to kind of show this office of the James Spader character as kind of an oasis from the outside world, which is featured in a very desaturated, bleak, fake is the word that they used, tone on the Wikipedia article. This film was adapted from a 1988 short story by a woman named Mary Gaitskill, who's a well-known novelist out of Lexington, Kentucky. The screenplay was adapted for the big screen by Aaron Cressida Wilson, and the original short story was expanded. Dialogue was changed around, but a lot of the characters remained the same. So I'm not going to get into a lot of the deeper aspects of this film. I just appreciate cinema as a whole. And, Maggie Gyllenhaal plays this very girl next door, kind of very timid, shy type of mousy girl that struggles with a lot of self-harm. And she's coming out of being in a psychotherapy at a facility and wants to come into the real world. She doesn't drive. She's in her mid-20s. Her mom has to take her to the job interview. Her father is a dysfunctional alcoholic, so there's a lot of layers to this person's pain. And she becomes this amazing typist And the movie, I think it was set probably in real time of 2002, but I thought it was kind of like very much. I know that a lot of the Lynch films, he kind of like has this throwback idealized version of like the 50s that he mixes in with like a darker subject matter. And it almost kind of, and there was nothing that said this anywhere online, but I almost kind of got like I almost kind of got like a Tim Burton vibe from this film. For example, the James Spader character shuns technology, still uses a touch tone phone and old intercom system, as well as everything is typed on an IBM Selectrix. So if you're a fan of the typosphere, such as yours truly, all my notes that I jot down, I type up on my old Smith Corona Sterling, my trusty friend here. So this movie's for typewriter nerds. This movie's for people that like romantic comedies, but maybe not so much. The subject matter is more 50 Shades of Grey, but it's not that dark and disturbing because to me, they're peeling back the layers of trying to trust and enter into a relationship, but there's things in their past that's holding them back, which I won't get into. So Rotten Tomato critic score is 78%, over 50,000 audience members reporting in, 82% Rotten Tomato score. Dang it, I forgot to write IMDb down. Oh well, it is what it is. So I've missed the mark on that. 4.4 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Just off of the original Reel trailer that I saw, it kind of drew me in, and then you wanted to see the progression of the characters, and it was enjoyable. And I definitely liked the feel of the Lynch inspired emphasis that they kind of put over the whole tone of the film, well as the soundtrack from the frequent Lynch collaborator that I talked about. So yeah. Is it my favorite movie? No, but did I enjoy it? Will I revisit it? Probably not. It's going to go into the archives. I wouldn't say it's my favorite film that I've ever seen, but it was worth a one watch, but it was definitely better than a 3 out of 5. I agree with the 82% critic score. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.